State Juniors 2025. I'm going to take you through both my races at the State Junior Championships. I ran the 3K and the 1500, so let's get into the 3000 meters. I was pretty pumped to be running the 3K at State. I haven't really run a 3K since December at Zatopek All Schools Nationals, so this was pretty exciting. I was ready to line up on that line at State and ready to hit out a good 3K. From the start, we were on like a split start, so where you start a little bit further up and a little bit further back and you have to go around the cones. And so I was in like the front bit of the split start, so I had to go out pretty quick in that first 100 just so I didn't get like mashed into that pack. So I went out like, I didn't go out too hard, but I went out at a decent pace just so I could get into like a good space to be able to run. So I think, I'm not really sure what we went through for the first 200, but it was definitely to plan because I didn't want to go out too fast and then get so much lactic that I just couldn't have the kick in the last bit. We went through the first kilometer in about a 3:04 to a 3:05, so it was looking at a pretty good pace. I knew that it was going to be a fast last K, so we're currently sitting at an average of 9:15, but probably going to go faster if we kept that though. So I was kind of expecting a bit of slowdown in the second K, but yeah, the first K was pretty solid and we were looking really good. My goal was to sit kind of like middle of the pack to the front, but I did not want to lead. That was my one objective, was do not lead. I'll let everybody else do the leading, and then that means that I'll be in a good place to kick in the last kilometer to 800 meters. So we got to the 2K mark and we ran through in 6:22. So we just run a 3:17 kilometer, which to be honest is pretty slow. Like that's like almost tempo pace. So we were back down. The time was looking like it was going to be pretty slow, but that's where the moves were starting to be made. And that's where I started to make just like a little bit of a surge, just trying to ramp the pace up so that we could run the legs out of everyone else to kick home hard and get a solid time and a solid position. With the heat, it was like pretty hot. I think it was like 38 degrees or something, so we were all feeling it a bit from the heat, and I think that really played like a big part of the race, if you know what I mean. Like nobody was really looking to go out hard early and just run home, because all our legs, I'm sure, were like we were pretty tired, I guess. So that meant that no one really went out and just took it early. So I tried to surge around that like 700 meter mark just to see if I could pick it up a bit. And we did pick up that lap. Like we weren't running our previous lap times, like we picked it up, but it wasn't like a decisive move yet. So then when we hit the bell, that was where it all changed. Like everybody just went. I gunned it, heaps of other people gunned it. We were all just sprinting because last lap everybody was still in like a big group, and this was where the positions were going to be decided. So I came up 200 to go. I think we were around that like 8:45 kind of area, going through 200 to go. And I remember just thinking, I was like, just drive, just go, go, go. Give it everything you've got, straight to the line. And so I just like pumped it. I ended up finishing third through the line, so we got ourselves a nice state bronze medal, and we ended up running a 9:15. So I was pretty happy with that time, especially being a very tactical 3K, but also one of my first 3Ks since Nationals last December. So the 1500. This race was a really big one for me because, as you've probably seen in a couple of my past videos, I've been trying to get the 1500 national qualifier to lock in that spot for Perth, and I've come really close the last 2 times I've done it. So the first one was at all comers. I ran a 4:12.99, and for those of you who don't know, the qualifier was 4:12.00. So I was less than a second off. And then at milers 1500, I ran a 4:12.39. So again, like less than half a second off. We're talking like the slightest margins. That was something that like was really driving me in the back of my mind. I was like, I've got to get it today, because at juniors, that was the last chance that I could get it. Lining up on that start line, I knew, like, I had butterflies, but I just knew that I had to just give it everything and do my absolute best. So we lined up on the start line, and then everybody just went. Like, the gun, I don't know, I thought the gun had gone. I didn't go though, because I had someone sitting like right next to me, and I could not go because I was just so boxed. So I know I didn't false start. I don't know who did false start, but remember that false start, because that is going to be something that plays out throughout the rest of the race quite a bit. So remember that for later. So we got back 32 seconds later. We were back on the start line, and the gun had gone off, and we were away cleanly. So that was really good. I sat like just towards the back. I didn't want to go out too hard. Again, I didn't want to like push it and hit so much lactic. Ended up going through the first lap slower than I'd planned to split it. So I'd planned to go 65 to 66 second laps, and I'd run that one in 67. So in the back of my mind, I was going, I need to speed up. We need to get back onto that pace so that I can then hit the time that I need to. So then going through the second lap, I think it was like a 71 or something. So a minute and 11 seconds. I'm pretty sure that was what the time was going through 2 laps. So, but that was where the race like really begins. Once you get to the 700 to go, that's when like you really start to pick it up, and everybody starts to make their moves, and you get ready for the big 400 kick. So we were going through, and we went through 400 to go. We were at, well, I was at 3:07. So I knew that I had to run home in less than 65, because it was like 3:07.80 or something, and I had to get home in under 4:12. So when I saw that on the clock, I immediately I didn't really do anything. Like, I picked up the pace a bit. I started to surge, but it was just like a wind up. I had 2 people pass me, I think, but then I got to the 200 to go, and I just went bang. Like, I was off. And I remember just like swinging off the bend, coming onto the straight. I passed one guy, I then passed the second. The clock stopped, because like when the winner goes through, the clock stops. The winner had gone through in 4:04, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're so close. I could get this right now. And I remember just pumping it down that last straight. I was pushing so hard. And then I got through the line, the clock still hadn't started again, because it's like a 5 second or something until the clock starts again. And I dipped through the line, and I was like, did I get it? And so I looked up at the scoreboard, and the scoreboard times were really messed up. Like, I looked back, and my time said 4:42. I didn't know what to make of it. I was so shocked. And the winner said 4:36. I was like, that's not right. Like, the clock on the track didn't say that. So we went into the post-race room, and we were sitting there, and I was like, oh, did I get it? Did I get it? I ended up coming 4th, so I was happy with that. I went from 6th to 4th in the last 100 meters, which was pretty good. And yeah, I walked out of the post-race room, and someone said it's a false start. And I was like, what do you mean it's the false start? And then I found out they'd forgotten to reset the clock. So like the track clock was right, but the like backup clock or something hadn't been reset from the false start. So that's where the 32 seconds comes in. And I was like, oh man, they better be able to fix that, because if they couldn't fix that, I couldn't go to Perth. We were waiting. We went into like the officials room or something, and we asked them, and they uploaded the video with a little timer down below. And as I crossed the line, it said 4:10. So technically I should have gotten the time. And so we were waiting for the official results to come out. And trust me, that was the longest 5 minutes of my life. I was just waiting. We reloaded the results and up came the time. 4:10.84. I'd gotten it. I was like pumped. I was going crazy. I was so happy. So we got it. We're going to Perth. It was a pretty good way to round off the weekend. I had the bronze in the 3K and the national qualifier and a PB by like 1.5 seconds in the bag. So I was absolutely stoked with the weekend. Thank you so much to everybody who made it possible. And thanks to you guys for watching these videos. I'm hoping that you're enjoying them heaps. So make sure to subscribe, share this with a friend, and we'll see you in the next video.